Dead food or man-made food is processed food, which primarily started in the 50s and 60s with big corporations that want to make a lot of money, so they figured out a way to make foods that don't spoil. A great example of this is when I had my chiropractic practice. We had on the front desk a glass see-through cake pan. And I went through the drive-through at McDonald's, getting a Big Mac, getting a bag of fries, not to eat, but to put in that cake pan on the front desk and just watch it. And day after day after day, a year later, that Big Mac, those French fries, looked the same. Hello! I have a question. I have a question for you. Are you ready? I want to know what two types of food there are. What two types of food there are. Do you know what two types of food there are? That's what I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes. I'm going to answer that question. This is all about pure life living, Pura Vida Wellness. I'm Dr. C.J. Benkert. I love inspiring and teaching others how to live a pure lifestyle. I've been doing this for 28 years. I love what I do. I've decided to go live for the next 90 days. And my goal is I want to share with as many people as possible that want to learn how to live your best, healthiest, purest life. Do you want to live your best, healthiest, purest life? Then join me. So today we're going to start with one of my 12 core concepts. So 28 years of practicing, 28 years of working with my own health and thousands of other patients' and clients' health. I have narrowed it down, this amazing, beautiful life that we have to live, to 12 core concepts. Concept number one that I will be discussing this week, starting today, is pure food. There's only two types of food. What are those two types of food? Here it is. There is only live food, or what I like to call God food, or dead food. So there's only two types of food. So when you're looking at putting energy and life into your body, you're either eating live God food or dead man-made food. So live food is pure food. Live God food is pretty much, for the most part, one ingredient. So it's a banana. A live food is asparagus. A live, real, pure food is avocado. A live, real, pure food with energy that emits light and has enzymes is coconut oil. Those are live, real foods. Dead food or man-made food is processed food, which primarily started in the 50s and 60s with big corporations that want to make a lot of money, so they figured out a way to make foods that don't spoil. A great example of this is when I had my chiropractic practice. We had on the front desk a glass see-through cake pan. And I went through the drive-through at McDonald's, probably one of 10 times in my entire life. I was that kid that wasn't allowed to go to McDonald's when we won our baseball game at the end of the day. I was brought up in this amazing, healthful, holistic nutrition home. Anyways, driving through McDonald's, getting a Big Mac, getting a bag of fries, not to eat, but to put in that cake pan on the front desk and just watch it. And day after day after day, a year later, that Big Mac, those French fries looked the same. They weren't spoiled. There was no mold on them. It looked exactly like it looked the day I bought it. And I know that might seem hard to believe, but when you have dead food that's filled with chemicals and there's no enzymes in it and there's nothing in it to spoil or rot, the food's just going to sit there. That's dead, unprocessed food. So there's two types of food: live God food, real whole food like fruits and vegetables and pasture raised meats and wild caught salmon and brown rice and yams and tropical fruits and beans and legumes. Those are real whole foods. They have enzymes in them. They spoil. You can actually take special photographs, and real food actually emits a light. It actually emits photons. Dead processed food like crackers and cookies and sugar cereal and waffles and just Doritos and all those packaged processed foods that basically don't spoil, they just sit on a shelf. Those don't emit light. Those don't have enzymes. Those are not energy giving. Those are not life giving. So what I encourage you to do is I'm challenging you, take a look at what you're eating on a daily basis. Are you eating live food most of the time, or are you eating dead food? So in 28 years of practice, I have come to the realization that there's really 12 main concepts or tenets to living a healthy, pure life, to living your best life, to experiencing the most amount of joy that you can experience. And those 12 core concepts are pure food. So this week I'm going to be talking all about pure food and what that is, and give you tips and tools and data and information about how you can incorporate bringing more pure foods into your body. We're going to be talking this week about supplements, organic food versus non-organic food. What are the macronutrients, the different classifications of food? We're going to be talking about that on Friday. Saturday, we're going to talk about healthy protein, commercially raised beef versus grass-fed beef. Cows were meant to eat grass. Cows were not meant to eat corn and growth hormones and antibiotics. So we're going to be covering that. And then we're going to talk about fermented foods and probiotics and gut health. So the 12 core concepts, I will end with this, that I'm going to be covering over the next 12 weeks. So I'm going to cover one core concept each week. And these are the concepts that I've used in my own life to create health. I went 7 years ago from being in my late 50s, early 60s metabolically. So the health of my cells, these beautiful little cells inside your body, you're made up of 50 to 100 trillion of these. I went from being in my 50s or 60s metabolically at a cellular level down to my 20s metabolically now. So I am younger now metabolically than I've been in at least the last 10, 15 years. And you can have that too. You can enjoy that energy and that strength and that joy and that passion. So pure food, number one. Number two, pure water. Super important. The quality of the water that you put in your body. Concept number three to living a healthy, best, most joyous life. Fasting. I'm going to spend an entire week on fasting. Concept number four. This is my favorite concept of all. Dr. Daniel Pompa taught me this. Sugar burning versus fat burning. Most of you are sugar burners. Unless you're a client of mine, unless you've gone through my program, you're most likely a sugar burner, and you're setting yourself up for strokes, diabetes, cancer, autoimmune, etc. Concept number 5, grounding and earthing. Love it. One of my favorite topics. I'll teach you about that. Concept number 6, spirituality. How to feed your spirit, how to feed your soul, meditation, prayer, self-care. So important is to be healthy and to live your best life. The next concept that I'll be talking about is wellness, diet variation, long-term sustainable eating. So once you go through my program and you've gotten your body in your 20s or 30s metabolically, you've healed your cells, you've learned how to eat, then we want to teach you how to eat long-term. And that's all about diet variation and actually eating high carbs some days purposely, and eating low carb and high fat and low fat and lots of protein. And there's a rhyme to my reason. The next concept that's so important to live your healthiest, purest life is exercise. But do you know how to exercise properly? The old adage of getting on a treadmill or running for 30 minutes a day, that cardiovascular, aerobic exercise, is not the best for building muscle, is not the best for staying young and increasing longevity. The next core concept I'll be discussing over the next 12 weeks is detoxification. Many of you that know me and that have heard me speak know that one of the main causes of all dis-ease is toxins, toxic overload. So that'll be an entire week of learning and education and discovering. The next concept to living your purest, healthiest, best, most amazing life is relationships, love, your family, your friends, how you treat them. Do you spend time with them? Do you let them know that you care about them on a regular basis? You don't want to be that person where something happens and you didn't tell that person how much you love and care about them. The next 12 concept out of the 12 core concepts is continuous, unending learning, gaining knowledge, learning what's new. And then when you're constantly always learning, I call it a spiral, like these earrings that I'm wearing right now. You guys see that little spiral on there? So I love the little spiral because that spiral to me, it's like non-ending. That spiral means constant growth and expansion. We're always evolving. We're always getting better. We're always getting closer to fulfilling who we are, why we're here on the planet, and what our sole purpose is. So that 11th core concept is all about continually learning and expanding and growing and being open, and then also teaching what you learn. If you're not teaching what you learn to others, that's why I'm here right now, you're not owning it. You can't bring it in, and you can't, it can't sink into the very depth of who you are if you can't teach it. So learning and teaching. And the last core concept of living a pure life, of not having to worry about getting cancer or diabetes, and knowing that you are leaving a legacy and you lived your best life possible, is being proactive and preventative in nature. Testing, looking to see how healthy your body is with scientific, objective testing on at least a yearly basis, so that you can have the assuredness and the peace of mind that you're not developing cancer, that you're in that optimal health zone. So that's it for today. There's only 2 types of food. What are they? That's right. God live food or dead man-made food. Which food are you putting into your body on a regular basis? This is Dr. C.J. Benkert with Pura Vida Wellness, teaching you, encouraging you, motivating you, inspiring you to live your purest life in body, mind, heart, and spirit. Peace to you. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.